After 7 years of marriage, I knew my wife Olivia was a total jumpy mess, so an April Fool's prank was definitely in order. I figured I'd tell her I was working late, then sneak home early, hide out, and totally jump scare her when she wasn't ready. I'd pulled stuff like this on her before, and each time, her face was hilarious. Around 6 p.m., I shot her a text to let her know my boss needed me to stick around at work until midnight, so she shouldn't wait up and just go ahead and grab some food. She hit me back with a sad face emoji, saying she'd miss me. I felt a little guilty, but my brain was already busy figuring out where I was going to hide once I got home. Maybe the shower curtain or the bedroom closet. I left work at 9:30 and drove home grinning like an idiot. I parked down the street so she wouldn't hear my car, then walked up to the house, trying not to laugh. It was just past 10 when I unlocked the front door. Inside, the living room was dark. I figured she'd gone to bed early and started heading up the stairs, but stopped dead in my tracks when I heard this soft little laugh that sounded like Olivia's coming from the bedroom, followed by deep masculine murmurs. I strained my ears and listened again. It wasn't a mistake. My heart started hammering in my chest. I crept up even quieter. The bedroom door was slightly open, with only a tiny bit of light spilling out, and as I got closer, I could clearly see a man's toes tangled with Olivia's painted ones. My throat closed up as I pushed the door open. Inside, Olivia was in our bed with a guy I'd never seen before, with sheets tangled around them. They both jumped out of the bed the moment they saw me.
Mark!
Olivia stammered. "What the fuck?" My voice came out strangled. The guy scrambled out of bed and started grabbing his clothes. Olivia was trying to cover herself with a sheet, saying my name over and over.
Mark, please let me explain.
"I'm done. We're done. Get the fuck out of my house." I pulled out my phone. "I'm calling my lawyer and your mom and everyone we know. They're all gonna know your true face. I won't spare either of you." Olivia's face went from panic to pale. She looked at the guy who looked back at her. In seconds, he was across the room, seizing my wrist. He twisted my arm behind my back, and my phone dropped, clattering onto the floor. "What are you doing? Let go of me!" I tried to pull away, but he was way stronger. Olivia hurriedly grabbed my phone and hurled it against the wall.
We can't let him tell anyone, Spencer. Do you understand?
The way she talked, plus the look on her face, immediately made me get what was going on, and my heart just totally stopped. "Olivia, what the fuck are you talking about?" I was yanking against the guy's grip. He tightened his hold, and pain shot up my arm.
I'm sorry, Mark. I'm so sorry.
But she didn't look sorry. She looked scared and desperate. The guy shoved me forward. I hit the dresser so hard, white spots danced in my vision. Before I could turn around, his hands were on my throat. I couldn't breathe. I clawed at his fingers, but they were locked. My vision started going dark around the edges. I threw my weight sideways. We crashed into the nightstand. The lamp fell and shattered. His grip loosened for a second, and I sucked in air and screamed. "Help! Somebody help me!" He grabbed me again and slammed me against the wall. My head cracked against the drywall, and everything went white.
Shut him up!
Olivia was yelling, panicking. I kept screaming as loud as I could. "Help! They're trying to kill me! Someone call 911!" His hands were back on my throat, squeezing harder. I was hitting him, but he wouldn't let go. My lungs were burning, and my eyes started closing. Right then, someone pounded on the front door. "Police! Open the door!" His hands released. I collapsed, gasping and coughing. "Come on, we have to go! Now!" He grabbed Olivia's arm and they bolted out the back door. I could hear their footsteps fading out in the yard. The banging on the front door got louder. I crawled into the hallway and yelled that I was opening it before I finally got the door unlocked. It wasn't the cops. It was my neighbor Jerry and his wife Linda, plus Mr. Patterson from right next door. They all looked totally freaked out. "We heard screaming," Jerry said. "Are you okay? Where's Olivia?" I pointed at the back door. Jerry bolted over to check it out, while Linda called 911, and Mr. Patterson helped me sit down. The real police showed up 10 minutes later. They checked out the house, the yard, and the whole neighborhood. Olivia and the guy were long gone. I told them everything. I did my best to describe the guy. They put out an alert for Olivia, checked her phone and bank records. She pulled out $5 grand that afternoon. Her car turned up 3 days later at a bus station 2 states away. She's been gone for 8 months. The police think that she and the guy had been planning to run for a while, and my showing up early ruined it. Or maybe they would have waited until I came home at midnight like I said I would, dealt with me and made it look like something else. I'm 32 now and relocated to a different state. The cops say Olivia's still out there and they're still looking, but the detective who calls me every few months sounds less sure each time. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks about that night, whether she regrets it or whether she's just glad I survived so she's not wanted for murder. I still don't know which one I'm hoping for. Selena and I broke up 4 months before April Fool's. She took it badly and kept showing up outside my building. When she couldn't get in, she started leaving voicemails at 2 in the morning, crying into the phone. When her antics didn't work, she started tagging me in old photos with captions like, "Miss this." My friends told me to block her. Selena had always been obsessive during our relationship. In fact, it was the same toxicity that had drifted us apart. But it was April 1st. I was drunk and thought it'd be hilarious to mess with her a little. So I texted her. "Hi, Selena. I've been thinking about us. I was wrong. Can we talk? I miss you." She responded in seconds.
Oh my god! Yes! Yes, yes! When and where? I can come right now.
I should have stopped right there, told her it was April Fool's and blocked her number. Instead, I told her to meet me at Riverside Park at midnight, the one near her apartment, and said we could talk things through.
I'll be there. I knew you'd come back to me.
She replied. I showed the whole thread to my roommate, Tyler, and we both lost it at the thought of Selena making a fool of herself, sitting in a dark park at midnight, while I was on the couch in my sweatpants. Was it mean? Yeah. But I was 23 and she'd been making my life hell for months, and I wasn't thinking past the punchline. Midnight came and went. I was 3 beers in and halfway through a Call of Duty match. I had literally forgotten about the whole thing until my phone buzzed around 1 a.m.
I'm so happy we're back together. Thanks for coming to see me.
My heart stopped beating. I hadn't left my apartment and hadn't even changed out of my sweatpants. Tyler was right next to me on the couch. There was no way Selena thought she'd seen me at the park because I wasn't there. I called her immediately. It rang through to voicemail. I called again and again. Tyler asked what was going on. When I showed him the text, he went pale as a ghost. Dude, who the hell is with her? I tried 5 more times, but she didn't pick up. My hands were shaking bad enough that I kept mistyping, but I got the message out. Selena, I'm not at the park. That's not me. This was a really stupid prank. I'm sorry. Please answer your phone. The 3 dots appeared in seconds.
It's too late.
She replied before the chat went dead. I called her roommate Jessica. She picked up on the 4th ring, half asleep and irritated.
What?
Is Selena there?
No, she left like 2 hours ago. Said she was meeting you. Why?
My throat closed.
No, Jason. What's going on?
I told her everything, and we concluded that whoever sent me that last message had been at the park with Selena and was using her phone. Jessica started screaming and said she was calling the police before she hung up. I sat staring at the screen. Tyler was pacing, saying we should drive to the park, but I couldn't get off the couch. 2 officers showed up at my door at around 2:30. They asked me about my relationship with Selena and why I'd told her to meet me at midnight if I never planned to go. I walked them through the prank and watched their faces go flat. So, you lured your ex-girlfriend to an empty park in the middle of the night as a joke? I didn't think she'd actually... I'm sorry. She's safe, right? You found her? They searched the park and found her car in the lot with doors unlocked. The keys were still in the ignition. Her purse was on the front seat, but her phone was missing. Under one of the oak trees near the walking path, they found her left heel lying in the dirt with blood smeared on the strap. Selena never came home that night. The police kept me at the station for hours. They wanted my whereabouts between 11 and 2. Fortunately, Tyler backed up my story, and the building security footage confirmed I never left. They had to let me go, but I could see what they thought. They searched for weeks, but couldn't even trace a single lead. The section of the park where they found the shoe had no cameras. Selena just vanished. When they pulled her phone records, the text to me came from her number, but by the time they tried to ping the location, the phone was already off. It was probably destroyed. For months to come, I couldn't stop sobbing, thinking about everything. Who was waiting at that park? Someone who knew she'd be there because I'd told her to come. Someone who'd been watching her, maybe. And I handed them the whole setup without knowing it. I'm 24 now. I keep trying Selena's number, hoping one day she'd answer and I could tell her how sorry I was. Jessica doesn't answer my calls. Selena's family told me not to contact them. Tyler moved out 3 months after it happened, said he couldn't be around me. I don't sleep. Each night, I keep going over the same thing. Did she figure out it wasn't me when she got there? Did she try to run? Or did whoever took her keep up the act long enough that she didn't realize until it was already done? The case is still open, technically, but the detective told me last year they've run out of leads. Her file is in a box somewhere, collecting dust. People ask if I think she's still alive. I don't know. I don't let myself answer that. Bernie was my favorite cousin, because he was the only one who didn't treat me like a baby at 11. So, when he said we should prank our parents on April Fool's Day, I didn't even need convincing. Bernie's pranks were always the best. Last year, he'd put plastic wrap under the toilet seat, and his dad fell for it. We laughed about that for months. This time, we were keeping it simple. My uncle's farm had this massive corn maze that they opened every October. In April, the corn was already 8 feet tall. Bernie said we'd sneak out, hide in the maze, and watch our parents freak out. They'll be running around, screaming our names like idiots, he said, giggling. That evening, when our folks were laughing, having dinner and wine, Bernie grabbed my arm and whispered it was time. We slipped out the back and ran across the field, giggling. The maze entrance was maybe 200 yards away, far enough they wouldn't hear us. It was the weird time right before it got dark, when everything looked gray. The corn was rustling in the wind, and the maze was bigger than I remembered. The paths were narrow, and the stalks were towering over us. We turned left, right, and left again. Bernie kept saying we needed to go deeper. Around the next turn, I got a pebble in my shoe, digging into my heel. I was hopping on one foot when I heard the rustle. My heartbeat picked up. I stopped hopping and listened.
Hear that?
I asked Bernie. He too stopped and listened to the soft padding of footsteps coming from somewhere behind us in the maze. Probably just a farm worker, Grace. Bernie shrugged. Come on, let's hide and scare whoever it is. We ducked around a corner and mashed ourselves against the corn. The stalks were rough and scratchy, smelling like dirt and fertilizer. The footsteps got closer. They sounded slow and dragging, like the person was either hurt or wasted. When they got really close, Bernie gave me a thumbs up as we waited. Suddenly, a guy rounded the corner and stopped only a few feet away. He was really tall, maybe as tall as my dad, and had on this dirty flannel shirt. His gray hair was sticking up all over the place, and he was carrying a huge machete that I remembered seeing once in a jungle movie. Bernie and I gulped as he peered at the field without saying anything. He looked down the path before his head slowly turned, and he stared right at us. I screamed as Bernie grabbed my hand, and we took off. I could still hear the guy's boots scraping the dirt behind us, mingled with a ripping sound, as if he was slicing through the corn. We kept turning corners, and Bernie kept yanking me all the way. Suddenly, my shoe flew off, but Bernie didn't let me slow down. Behind us, the ripping got way louder. He was maybe 20 feet back. "Come on, Grace!" Bernie yelled, yanking my arm. We hit a dead end with a wall of corn. We spun around, and the man was right there, blocking us in. He lifted the machete. "Go through the corn!" Bernie shoved me toward the wall. "Push through!" I started clawing at the stalks. They were super thick and cut my hands, but I kept pushing until I made a gap.
Come on, Bernie!
I yelled, trying to hold the stalks open. Bernie was reaching. His hand almost touched mine. Just then, the man grabbed Bernie's shirt and yanked him back. Bernie screamed in a way I'd never heard him before. Our fingers touched before the maze consumed him. I heard the machete and wet chopping sounds. Bernie was screaming for help. I pushed through the corn until I hit another path. I kept running and taking turns without even thinking. My bare foot was bleeding. I could still hear those slow footsteps behind me, like he knew I'd get tired eventually. Suddenly, I saw the farmhouse lights through the corn, and I sprinted toward them. My mom found me maybe 10 minutes later, calling my name. She sounded annoyed until she saw me. I was covered in scratches, missing a shoe, and couldn't stop crying. She asked where Bernie was, and I just pointed at the maze. All the adults went in with their flashlights, yelling Bernie's name. Uncle Rob had a baseball bat. They were in there for over an hour. Still, came out with nothing. The cops showed up around midnight. They brought dogs and searched the whole maze with these huge spotlights. They found Bernie's backpack near the dead end. His phone was in it. They also found 4 fingers lying in the dirt nearby. They never found the rest of him. They couldn't find that man either. My uncle said there weren't any workers on the farm that day. I told the police everything. They searched everywhere, but nobody in the town had heard anything about Bernie. My uncle shut the maze down. He plowed the whole thing under 2 weeks later. Bernie's still missing. The case is still open. They have his fingers in evidence, and that's all they have of him. It has been nearly 5 years since that April Fool's Day. I still have nightmares about Bernie's hand reaching for me, about that wet chopping sound. My therapist says I have PTSD, says I was just a kid and there was nothing I could have done. But she didn't see Bernie's face when that man grabbed her, didn't hear him scream my name. Sometimes I wonder if the man's still out there, waiting in some other corn maze on some other farm, looking for kids who think pranks are funny.